Hello, hello, hello. This is Mindi from Mindi on the Mic from Stigma to Connection. And today's conversation is just so fun. I got to talk to my friends, Kyrié and Jack John. They're from Lincoln, Nebraska. And Jack John and Kyrié and I met where I used to live in Lincoln, but now I moved to Omaha for private practice, career, etc., etc. But I did an internship in Lincoln, so that's how we all met. And you'll hear more about that on the episode, but it was just fun to hear about their life experiences. I've known them since they first started college, and then now Jack John's graduated college, and Kyrié is working in the workforce right now, and so it's been fun to hear her experiences about that. And it's been fun to hear, too, about their experiences about dating in college and now out of college. I personally never experienced a relationship that was from college and into post-college, but it was good to get some insight and good to just ask questions about, like, hey, how is that experience and how is that going? So I hope you enjoy. Thanks. I'm Mindi, and I have a microphone. So this must be Mindi and the mic from Stigma to Connection. Let's have a conversation. Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Mindi, and this is Mindi on the mic from Stigma to Connection, and I am with my lovely friends, Jack John and Kyrié. They are both from Lincoln, Nebraska, and I think right now they're both, you can explain for yourself, but Jack John's looking for a job right now, and Kyrié is currently in the workforce, and they have been dating how many months?
About 18 months.
Yep. Wow. Congrats.
Thank you.
Yeah. So Jack John, I wanted to ask you, how has it been like looking for a job in that process?
Yeah, Mindy, it's been kind of rough past couple of months looking for jobs because I graduated in May of 2024 and there aren't a whole lot of jobs in my work field, which is computer science.
That was your major?
Yeah, that was my major. It's been sort of challenging finding work there, but right now it seems to be entering like a new season where a couple companies are hiring people, so we're slowly coming back to normal. But yeah, it's been sort of hard on my patience at times trying to find work.
That's a bummer because isn't computer science, I thought, is a pretty good field, right?
One would think.
That's what I was led to believe. That was a big motivator for me to go through college and stick with the program. It seemed as if right when I was convincing myself, yes, this is like a good major to stick with, like partway through college when I was just like, should I change major? Should I not? Right when I was making the decision, like, yeah, I'm going to stay. This is going to be great for like job security, was right when the job market sort of started to go under, but I wasn't aware of that at the time. So it's slowly coming back, though, from what I understand.
Yeah, that's crazy because I was communications and also kind of a borderline psychology major, and I felt like there was pressure on me to find a job. I felt like computer science, engineering, nursing, who knows what pre-med, they were all like, you have job security. You are set to go. So I am very, very surprised by that.
I was surprised by that, too. And yeah, I mean, it's not a position anyone wants to be in, but I guess I'm able to relate more to people in other majors who do, or other career fields who do have harder times finding work. So it's rough.
Yeah. What college did you guys go to again?
UNL.
Yeah, UNL or University of Nebraska Lincoln.
Go Skurs? Yeah.
You got that right. I'm not that patriotic for the Huskers, actually. But anyway, I swear. But
And then, Kyrié, what are you doing right now?
so actually, I left college during the middle of my junior year. It was a really tough decision to make, but the circumstances proved to be in favor of that when at the beginning of my junior year, I was offered the job of my dreams, making comics for a company that I grew up listening to. I was like, well, shoot, I don't need a degree. That wasn't the only factor. There were a lot of factors playing into that, but ultimately I just decided to leave college and do this. And that has the longer I do that, the more I'm like, this is exactly what needed to happen.
Yeah.
And I also work in retail as kind of a supplementary thing. But yeah, I draw comics and sell makeup. It's fun.
Do you regret going to college?
Nope. nope. I'm glad I was in college for as long as I was, because not only did I meet people and have things happen to me that shaped my life, but also like I would not have left college if not for this opportunity.
Yeah.
Because like I am not at all a proponent of leaving college without something to go towards.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I would not recommend that to anyone. I think my case was very rare. Like getting your dream job, like college to me was a means for an end, but reaching that end at 21 was not something I expected to happen at all, even a little bit. So that's not the case for everyone. I don't recommend that for everyone. And I did try to survey absolutely all of my options, and I tried my best to stay in school, but ultimately that wasn't what was best for my path specifically. But I am glad that I went for as long as I did. I don't feel like I wasted my time.
Yeah, and I think college is such a hard decision to make too in this day and age because it's so expensive.
Oh my
It's
gosh,
really
it's a
expensive.
huge investment. Huge investment.
Yeah. Did you need to go to college for your degree?
I did. I feel like you need like a lot of training
Yeah.
for my degree, and trying to motivate yourself to do all of that, especially like because it's hard work. Like it's very hard to self-motivate, and 90% of people I know would not motivate themselves to learn how to do that without school putting pressure on you. It's like, you need to learn.
Yeah. So how do you guys maintain a healthy relationship while going through your very, very it's busy seasons of life right now? Like you're interviewing, you're working 2 jobs, I believe you said. Yeah. How do you guys manage it?
That's a really good question. I think one way we manage it is by like healthy communication with each other.
Yes.
Me and Kyrié both specifically like wear on our emotions on our sleeves.
Yes.
So like
Perfect
we can
match.
I know,
Yeah.
right? I'm so grateful.
I'm really grateful too. One reason why I'm grateful is because anytime like I see Kyrié is upset or she is sad or something like that, I can read that off of her face, and I can just be like, are you okay? Like, you look upset? Are you all right? What's going on? And I feel like talk to each other about like 1 or 2 things each day, either like good things or bad things, like what's weighing the most on our minds has really been helpful for us.
How'd you guys meet?
Ooh, well, we were in a campus ministry together. We and we're in kind of like serving positions, and that night in particular, we were both door greeters. We were on opposite doors. First impressions were not truthful to who we were in real life, as in he was having a bad day. I didn't know that. So I just thought he looked really tired and kind of grouchy, and I tried to like I remember trying to like talk to you, like make a joke to you, but then there was no response. So I was like, all right, he just ignored me. What I found out later is that he just hadn't heard me. But I was like, he's a grouch.
Yeah, I'm sorry I gave such a bad first impression.
No, you're fine. I was proven wrong very fast. Like, because we had like weekly meetings. Like that next week, I was proven wrong so quick because he was kind of everywhere in this ministry. He was giving announcements on stage.
Overcommitment. Yeah.
He was a big
I did overcommit.
big yeah, that's real. I did too at one point, but I was like, oh, this is not a grouch. I immediately saw how energetic and kind of infectiously happy and energetic he was, and I was like, all right, I want to be his friend. But anyway, your turn.
I mean, I'm not gonna say anything that would like overwrite that story in any way. So
That was from my perspective.
I just thought you were like one of the most dressed up people there.
That's
So I thought
true.
you were a sorority girl.
I did dress
And I
up
was
a lot.
just like,
Were you a sorority girl, Kyrié?
No. At one point I tried to be, but that didn't. I backed out at the last minute because it was like money. And in hindsight, I'm glad I did because I ended up not committing to full-time college at all. But anyway, back to him.
yeah, that was pretty much it.
So you started dating full time in college then?
Yeah, we were
Yeah.
friends first. We actually became friends because of Mario 3 kind of.
Yeah,
So similar
like-
interests.
we liked having different or similar interests, and we sort of like got to know each other better through that, which was really cool. And then later on down the road, we were just like, I asked her out, and
I have to ask just because I started dating my partner after college. Was it hard transitioning from college to, I guess, being out of college dating?
Do you think dating in college was harder
I think
than dating now?
to a certain extent, I think it was because I had a lot of like late night homework to do while we were
All-nighters?
dating. Yeah, so
Yes.
there was a significant amount of all-nighters, and Kyrié was the only person with a car.
Yes.
My car broke down and I couldn't get it
Classic
replaced.
college.
And so Kyrié had to drive me everywhere. She volunteered to drive me everywhere.
Oh yeah, I was happy to do it.
And well, there were definitely times you were happier to do it than other times.
true.
Like
That's
at 4 a.m. when I was working on schoolwork, and I was just like, okay, I need to be
Yeah.
picked up from school now.
Yeah, that was rough, but it was just how the cookie crumbled, and I would rather that have happened than you spending the night at school or walking home in the dark.
Yeah, what things have you learned throughout dating through college and now post-college?
Ooh,
Because I see a lot of relationships that actually don't make it out of college,
right.
or a lot of relationships that start after post-college. So
Right. We've learned a lot. Like a lot.
This was my first dating relationship, so I think I learned a lot about dating in general.
Yeah. Fair.
Just
I think a lot of people can relate to that, though. Like,
yeah. Through trial and error, a lot of it is I sort of expected it to be like super romantic all the time. It's not always the case. It like sort of fluctuates how you feel depending on the day. Even before marriage, like it is a commitment, and seeing the other person committing to you even when you're being difficult or like life isn't treating you the best, like in terms of all-nighters or things like that, it's harder to wake up at 4 a.m. for somebody than you think. So
that's like really good insight, though. I think a lot of people do not treat dating like that.
Yeah.
It's kind of like if you annoy me, I'm gonna break up with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people get the ick way too fast these days over little things.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this is actually not my first dating relationship. But that means going into it, I kind of thought I had it all figured out. I was kind of cocky about it, whether I wanted to admit that or not at the time. I was proven wrong really fast. It turns out I have never dated a good friend before.
Oh,
So
I'm a good friend.
Tell me
you're
more.
my friend. Yeah. No, well, he is at this point one of my dearest friends,
yeah.
and was a dear friend even when we started dating. I didn't know what that was like before. I was kind of taken aback and off-put by everything that was different. They were all good, different things, but they were so different than what I'd had before that I was really shocked and off-put and kind of scared by it. It's like, should it feel this comfortable? Should I feel this normal? Like, why am I not feeling constant fireworks all the time? Like, why am I not feeling anxious all the time? Is this okay? Is this allowed? Type deal.
Yeah.
So that was a learning curve. There are supposed to be parts of relationships that are hard,
Mm-hmm.
but so there are relationships with the right person are not supposed to be like hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Spending time with the right person should be easy.
At least most of the time.
Yeah.
Like some conversations you have are going to be difficult.
Of course, but like, yes, that is true. Those are the parts that are going to be hard. Those are the parts that should be hard. It's a good challenge to overcome together.
Yeah. No, I
Yeah.
think it's fascinating that you said that you haven't dated anyone that was a friend before.
Yeah.
Was it like a dramatic difference dating
Yes.
someone who is a friend? Like, give me some examples. Or
Well,
obviously,
yeah.
Jack John, you can pipe in too.
Oh yeah. No, yeah. Well, for instance, like exes, I've had exes where like attraction was the only thing that like made us want to date each other in the first place. It was like
And no common
Okay.
interests.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Like all right. I mean, a few common interests, like enough for us to be like, all right, I think we can make this work.
You both go to sleep at night.
Yeah,
We
we
both
both
wake up in the
drink
morning.
water. um,
Hey,
like-
Jack John, you do that too.
I mean, yeah, I go to sleep
Hopefully,
at night
ideally.
eventually.
That's
I
true.
drink water occasionally.
I also drink water occasionally. I need to do that more
Healthy.
often.
We support that here.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm really bad at it. I forget to drink a lot. But,
Yeah.
But-
I don't support unhealthy.
that's right.
I
Let the
only
record
live
state.
unhealthy.
Write
don't
me a
support-
t-shirt quote.
That's like a politician slogan.
Do how I say, not how I live.
But anywho,
Yeah,
yes.
but just the dramatic difference of
Yeah.
being someone who's a real friend compared to
Yes.
someone who's a stranger.
the
almost.
comfortability is different.
Yeah.
The comfortability is so different. When you are dating someone because you're attracted to them, like, and that's it. And that's like, obviously, I was like, crap, I like you. I'm attracted to you. Like,
Which I
blah.
was surprised by.
I wasn't. But
Do you think it matters what comes first?
well,
Attraction over compatibility or friendship?
I think
I-
friendship is a good thing to come first.
Yeah, I have seen probably relationships work where like mutual attraction comes first, but more often what I see is friendship first.
Yeah.
And I think that's really good because during those periods where you're like not feeling as romantic towards each other, it's easier to stay with a friend than with somebody who like you weren't friends with before. Even though like yes, the risk involved with that like pursuing a romantic relationship is greater, which I feel like is one reason why people sort of try like some people I've talked to try not to go towards dating friends because like, oh, if you break up, that might ruin the friendship. I think you have the potential to actually strengthen that dating relationship more if you're friends.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I don't know. It's always interesting when I ask people this poll question: who would you rather date, a stranger or a friend? And actually, I feel like the most of my guy friends would say stranger,
Really?
Yeah.
and most of my friends who are friends who are girls would say a friend.
Yes.
So I think it's really interesting to see the outcomes of that.
I guess I would just say depend. I've never dated a stranger before, so I would just be like, depends on how good the stranger is.
True. I think, yeah, true.
Okay.
I think friendship provides a safe place for emotional vulnerability. So it makes
We love that.
that answer makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So then,
It's a safe place.
Kyrié, how do you feel like you're supporting Jack John through his job searching right now? Has it been like difficult in times of uncertainty? Do you feel pressured or at all?
No pressure necessarily. I wouldn't say there's any pressure. I think he's really easy to support in love, but that support in love looks different
Yeah.
sometimes than it does in other times. Like that support looked like being there to pick him up at 4 a.m. while he was in school. While we were in school. And now that support looks different. Like that support manifests itself differently. So whatever stage you're in, whatever season we're in, I try to like gauge what would be most helpful for him and for us in that time. And that looks different.
Yeah.
From
And
time to
then, Jack John, how about you? How do you feel like you're managing just the job hunt, the grind, the trying to find a career right now?
Yeah, it's hard. It's harder. In some ways, it's harder than I thought, but in some ways, it's easier than I thought. It's harder than I thought because it's harder in different ways. I thought the hardest part about job hunting would be feeling like I would be like a burden to people around me, or just finding a job in general obviously is difficult, and I didn't expect to have to wait as long as I did.
Yeah.
So like that was surprising, and I feel like it's another dimension that makes it difficult is because I feel like in some ways we were meant to work, and so being stuck in a period of I can't work makes me feel unfulfilled in a way that I haven't experienced before.
Yeah.
And it makes it hard to relax during a period that I'm trying to see as just being like, this is downtime before I enter the workforce for the rest of my life. I'm instead seeing this as I'm not doing anything productive for society. I feel like it's not like I feel like less valuable, but it's more just like I feel like I could do so much more than I am.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like self guilt trips.
Mm-hmm.
So that's more been like the more difficult side of things. It is easier than I thought it would be because like other than applying for jobs and then waiting to hear back once you've applied to everything you can apply to, you're sort of just like, well, time to see what else I can do. Like there's not much more I can do other than hoping for other people to respond.
Yeah. I think it'd be cool though, like in a year, for you to come back and talk about like, let's see where you're at in a year.
One thing I do that to really help me through this season is every time I've been through a long season of just waiting on something. So like COVID was a great example of this. I tried to have the mindset of when I'm on the other side, I am going to look back on this, not smile, but I will look back on it and see like, wow, this period of my life that was hard and did suck did like transform me in ways that were ultimately good for me and hopefully like improving my character. So I'm trying to see this current struggle now as something that should hopefully like build me into a better person rather than seeing it purely as something that could bog me down.
Yeah. No, that's good. Do you guys have any advice for those who are currently in a dating relationship that's transitioning out of college?
Depends on what situation they're in. Because it varies from... If they're in a situation like ours, then yeah, we've got some words of wisdom.
I think just in general, what I would say is just be patient with each other.
Yes.
And be okay with like growing closer to each other, and like stay in good communication with each other, because like with every big life transition, people usually change from a little to a lot. And I think that if you don't stay in good communication with each other, you're not going to see that transition occur as smoothly. So you're just going to be like, whoa, you seem completely different now than you were like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So I think that's good. And also like with every big life transition comes like, there's a lot to sort out. So just being patient with each other, for just being like, oh, why didn't you answer my text like within 5 minutes? Like both people have other things in their lives that are going on that they're still trying to figure out.
Right.
And so trying to figure that out together rather than trying to figure that out individually is really important.
Yes. Like with every big life transition comes stressors. And I would say be honest with each other about how those stressors are making you feel and like how they're, or in general, just what they are and how they're impacting you so that they can be better informed on how to love you well. And also don't be afraid to like let them know specifically, communicate specifically how you need to be cared for in a circumstance, you know, because they're not going to know if you don't tell them, you know, like we aren't mind readers, which is easy to forget when you share brain cells as often as we do.
Yeah. Communication is still important because even though like me and Kyrié are both expressive enough individually to where we can usually tell like what general emotions we're feeling, like we usually don't know how do we respond.
Yeah, what exactly
like
is going on unless we explicitly say it.
And yeah, I think that's really important.
Yeah. So what was your guys' first date?
we played Mario Brothers in the basement of a church on campus.
I think you know the one. For like 5 hours straight.
5 hours?
Yes.
Who are your characters?
I was Luigi.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, we had a little. I mean, we threw in a little Metroid in there, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I wanted to ask Kyrié, like, oh, have you tried this? Have you tried this? And she was just like, oh, I have tried this, but I haven't tried this. And I'd just be like, well, would you like to give it a try?
Who initiated first?
Like in the relationship,
Yes.
or okay, so
This is an interesting story.
yeah, so my friends all sort of learned over time, like as they saw me and Kyrié's friendship, like as we hung out with like group hangout sessions more, they realized that Kyrié liked me.
Yes.
And they knew how much I needed Kyrié or would need Kyrié or someone like her in my life. So they were just like, dude, she likes you and you would obviously be really good for each other. So like you need to respond to that soon.
When he says, I wear my emotions on my sleeve, he means it in the most literal sense.
Did you not realize she liked you?
I think I had my suspicions, but I've been wrong about my suspicions multiple times in the past. So this was like the one time. It's like a cartoon character, like how they're just like, oh, I believe that this is going to happen when I do this. So they like try and they fail. And then Wile E. Coyote or whoever like makes an assumption again, acts on that assumption, falls flat on their face again. And the one time like that it's real and it actually happens, they're just like, no, I'm not going to do it anymore.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
that was how it was with me. Because I was just like, oh, the one time was just like, maybe she likes me. And she actually did, was the one time where I was just like, I'm going to try to ignore these feelings if at all possible.
But she was wearing them on her sleeve.
Yeah, and I wanted to ignore them too, but I just could not help it. I could not help it. I didn't want to date anyone at the time. I was single and thriving, I guess, but I didn't want to date anyone at the time, but the feelings came on.
They came.
They
Couldn't be ignored.
They could not
Now
be
we're
ignored.
here.
They could not be stopped. They were totally inevitable. And since like when I have feelings for someone, it's just so like painfully obvious to everyone around me.
Except Jack John.
Except me. Or maybe I was just trying my absolute hardest to just ignore that. And that's sort of what I feel like my friends were more calling me out on, was more like okay, you can't ignore this any longer. You can't run from this situation. You need to do something about it, or else it's not just you who will be affected. It'll be her. And you don't want to have to deal with that.
Okay, but let's
That's
talk
fine.
about those intuitions that you have wrong. Me and Jackson have known each other for a while now. I was actually in this campus organization. I was like a leader and he was a student at the time. And my job at the time was to recruit students and to hang out with them and to produce community. And then Jack John and his lovely intuition thought that me texting him, hey, what are you doing? A bunch of us are going to IHOP.
I've heard this story.
Thought that, what did you think?
So when I saw Mindy's message, which was, what are you doing tonight? Or something along those lines, I was just like, what's going on? Because it was during COVID and like my interactions with people were very limited outside of class. And so anytime anyone texted me who like wasn't family was just like, that was unexpected. And so like to have someone who was like a girl, but also like a little bit older than I was text me, what are you doing tonight, was just like what do I do? I was homeschooled, so my interactions with females in general were limited, and I was just
was it like red flag behavior, or was it more like, why is this girl texting me? She's like 3 years older, like, 4 years older.
It wasn't quite red flag behavior. It was more like yellow flags.
Beige flag.
Yeah. So, like, I try not to make assumptions about people. So I'm just like, there's more likely than not an innocent explanation for this. And that's why I was just like, is anybody going with us to IHOP? And once I learned once I learned there were, I was just like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm perfectly down with going.
And then before Jack John met Kyrié, I did the lovely opportunity. I went up to him and I was like, Jack John, would you like to go on a blind date? And the first thing that he says to me is, he looks at me kind of like deer in the headlights, and he was like, oh, blind date doesn't mean I have to go on a date with you.
Wording though. Oh man,
that was like, bro.
An indefensible action that I have a defense for.
Yes.
Yeah, that was.
I think it's funny now.
It was super funny then, at least for me. But again, that sort of built off of that confusion of just like, is this person flirting with me or not? Like, I already had that like mental struggle earlier in the day to just be like, she's not flirting with me. It's okay. Like, you don't have to worry about that. And then like, I think someone else was talking to me right before that. And then, so I like sort of like jumped right to when like I was talking to somebody, and then you're just like, hey, Jack John. And then I turn, and then you're just like, would you be interested in going on a blind date sometime? And so like, sort of like half of that information seeped into my head before the other half did. And then I like did my mental processing out loud, which I do a lot. And honestly, I'm very glad it hasn't landed me in more difficult situations than that. But so that's good.
That's so funny.
I'm kind of glad that it did not work out, the blind date. I mean, specifically because I think Kyrié is awesome.
I agree. I think, like, again, it's like one of those situations to where it's just like, yeah, like you don't know why things did or didn't work out until like you get to the other side and you can sort of look at it from like a hindsight 2020. Like I can feel the Lord sort of directing my steps towards a certain place in my life.
Yeah. That's exactly how I feel about my past. I'm glad nothing back then worked out, but I'm glad that he came into my life at exactly the time he did. Like, any sooner, I don't think I would have been ready. Yeah. I don't think it would have been time. It would not have been the right time.
Timing's perfect, and life throws so many hoops and so many challenges in its way, but I'm super glad that you guys, like, got connected to each other. And also just, like, it seems like life, you're just taking it one day at a time, and that's all you can do, too.
Yeah. And I'm glad that I had good friends like you to be able to support me until, like, those types of situations worked out, because obviously from a hindsight perspective, you're able to see how each piece fell into place. But like, there's still in the meantime, like people need help. They need encouragement. And I needed the friend group that you were introducing me to. So I'm really thankful for you and your willingness to reach out to me with that.
That's so sweet. Yeah. Now all of our friend group, I feel like, has moved.
Yeah.
Rip.
So, which, I mean, happens after college, but I feel like those connections last way longer.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for coming on today. Before we end, I have some rapid fire QA that I'd like to ask you. And you guys obviously don't have to share the same answer, even though you share the same brain. So you might share the same answer. But, okay, ready? What's your guys' go-to Nintendo game?
Mario 3.
Yeah, Mario 3.
What's your go-to character that you play for Super Smash Brothers?
Oh, Peach. I main Peach on everything I play.
Mario is pretty cool, but I like Captain Falcon.
What's your favorite thing to do in Lincoln?
Ooh.
Spend time with friends.
Yeah, pretty much. Just wherever that happens. Also, I love Bloom Coffee in Lincoln. That is my favorite coffee shop ever. Anyway.
Who's the last person that you called?
You.
Oh, that's true. On our way here.
But that was him, not you.
Oh, who did I call last? I don't know.
Probably your mom.
I think so. I think it was my mom. She's like my best friend, so probably.
What's a food you absolutely hate?
Oh, easy. Coconut or sweet potato.
What? You eat coconuts?
Well, like
The flavor?
like coconut shavings, coconut flakes,
Ew,
coconut.
yeah.
I know, gross. I also don't like sweet potato.
Oh, rip Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I know. Like that. Like as soon as she said she hates sweet potatoes, I was just like, "Are you sure? There's still time to change." Like,
No, well, too bad.
More for me.
His mom's sweet potato was like the only sweet potato that I could manage to choke down without gagging back up. So that is progress.
a win
That
is a win.
Yes, exactly. That is a compliment to his mom's sweet potato.
Yeah.
Like compared to other sweet potato, it stands out above the rest.
I guess a certain food that I don't like is I'm not a huge seafood guy.
What?
Sushi is fine. Like, yeah, we ate a lot of sushi in college. But yeah, most other seafood I don't really enjoy. And let's see, nuts. I don't like nuts. I'm not allergic to nuts. I just don't like
Any
them.
kind, like pistachio?
Pistachio, almonds, pecans. I'm just like, ugh.
I agree with that actually. There's like no taste and it's just texture, no taste. Like they're so bland. But there's so much texture. I don't like.
I do like Reese's though. Reese's is fine.
The
So like
cereal?
peanut butter.
Or the candy?
Or like peanut
Both.
butter. True.
And then also like boiled peanuts are really good. Have you ever had
you
hard
Southerner.
boiled peanuts? Yeah, I know.
You're not Nebraska native.
I'm not
It's
Nebraska
okay.
native.
I'm not either.
Okay. Bonding.
I can't. Well, anyway, thank you. Oh, I should not have done that. Anyway, thank you so much for coming on. Do you guys have any shout outs or anyone that you want to give a ring to?
Nope.
Well, I mean, shout out you for bringing him into the friend group because then that led to him bringing me into the friend group. And seriously, like this is legit the best friend group I've ever been in my
It
life.
was partly like my job, kind of.
I'm
Like
glad it happened.
I got paid to recruit people, and then I was in Lincoln, and I didn't have a lot of friends, so I just like stayed with the people I technically got paid to make friends for.
Real. I mean, happy to have
But
you.
now we're all friends. And
Exactly.
so
I like
I'm
where that
thankful
led.
for that. Yeah.
No longer relying upon monetary reasoning. I'm sorry. All jokes.
It's okay. No, like I didn't. Yeah, I'm glad that the friendship is real.
Yes.
And there's no money
is.
involved.
It is real, and it's like it was the first big friend group that had like I don't know, I could just kind of be myself with completely, and everyone else was also being themselves completely. It was very chill and very, very fun. And also, you know, I met the man that I love from that, so that's cool.
Feelings.
Feelings.
It's true. I do feel them.
Yeah,
It's real.
it's cute though. We need more people like
Thanks.
that who feel things. Yay.
Boy, do we
Humans.
feel things. Boy, do we.
Okay. Well, anyway,
Okay.
Thank you again so much for coming on. I really do
Yeah.
appreciate. And yeah, thanks. Bye bye.